spirit animal.
Hey, I'm Elena and this is my blog from France, which will cover Paris, some cities in Normandy and also Nice. Actually, it was my first time in Paris, although I never left it to visit like other parts of France, so this trip was a little bit special. With Paris, like you could guess that I returned there again and again because I love it so much. But actually, it wasn't love from the first sight for us. And at first, although I like it to some extent because it was my first time in Europe, and yeah, everyone is so excited to visit Paris. It's so hyped up and so on. But as many people, for some reason I thought that it was a bit dirty, and some people tried to scam us, etc., etc. So I was thinking, yeah, it's cool, but probably not for me. But something just made me return there again and again and again. And by now I'm thinking that yes, it is a huge city, probably it's not for everyone as well, but it for sure has a lot to offer and a lot of pretty unique attractions that this time we are living actually in a pretty interesting apartment. Here you can also see that we already created a mess over here, but well, I think it's kind of expected. So this apartment, it essentially has some kind of basement, and in order to go to the bedrooms, you need to go down. At first I thought it was just some kind of cellar, and it was pretty weird. But yeah, eventually it was pretty nice. This apartment has its downsides and so on, including the reception being total crap. And actually it has also no Wi-Fi, so yeah, we have no internet nights as some people always dream about.
Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh.
I love amusement and theme parks, so Disneyland is another must visit for me personally. This time when we were entering, we had a mini heart attack. Because we bought our tickets well in advance, we didn't return to reading them for a while. And just at the entrance, I was reading like, you must present the printed version of this ticket and nothing else accepted. I really panicked, but thankfully they just scanned the tickets on our mobile phones without a question, and we were rewarded with seeing this Sleeping Beauty castle once again. I love it. As in many parks, in Disneyland you just need to buy the entrance ticket and then you can visit anything that you want. But time is another important thing because the queues can be crazy, like about an hour plus. Surprisingly, in August there weren't as many people, so we were able to enter most of the rides within, I would say, 5 to 25 minutes, which is not a lot for Disneyland. Yet some of the popular attractions, they had a wait time of maybe 35 to 50 minutes, which is still quite a lot. And Disney offers a couple of options to solve this issue. First one is a Premier Access, It is the most convenient but also the most expensive one. This access will cost you about 120 euros per person per day, but also there is a cheaper option which is called Fast Pass, and with a Fast Pass you can buy priority access for an individual ride. Personally, I think that if Premier Access is too expensive for you, I would definitely go for Fast Pass, which we actually did, because we didn't need the Premier Access for everything, as those rides had not a long wait time in any case. So I think that we spent about maybe 50 or 40 euros for the rides that had a long wait and that we wanted to visit. And the main difference here is that Fast Pass has a particular slot, so it would tell you like come from 12 p.m. to 12:30 p.m., while Premier Access allows you to enter any time that you want. Some of the rides also offer a free time-saving option which is called Single Rider, so if you are willing to separate from each other, then just check if the attraction has it and you will enter much faster. When you are tired or done with the rides, you can also go shopping. They have all kinds of things, clothes, cups, Sasha. I really wanted to buy one cup, but the only thing that was stopping me is that I had to carry it all the way through France, also all the way back to Prague, so I decided to skip this time. There are also a lot of themed restaurants and even just themed snacks all around the park, but in my opinion, they sometimes look much better than they taste, and I don't share as much of excitement about them, but also the choice is yours and I tried various things, so see for yourself. But my most favorite part comes in the evening. Of course, it is Disney Illuminations, and I am still mind blown that they do it literally every single evening. It's crazy.
We invite you to dream bigger, smile and wander, and laugh louder. Together, let's make the future brighter than ever.
But actually I have some hot take on Disney Illuminations. Before I was there in 2017 and 2019, and this time it was 2023, and the both previous times the show was absolutely the same. Like there was no drones, all of the songs were the same, and I always was dreaming that they would add Rapunzel or just whatever, some new other princesses that they added over the years, except of Frozen, of course, that just, in my opinion, back then just could not be avoided. And this year they added Rapunzel. I would say I loved it, they took my favorite song, etc. But they just removed all kinds of iconic songs that were there before, like The Little Mermaid, actually the Frozen itself, and I will try to find the video from back then so you just can hear that the kids were just feral over it, and I sort of was as well. So in the Frozen clip you could see that almost everyone was singing along with it, because kids just loved it at the time, and I think they still do, and adults, they knew it even if they never wanted to know it back then. And I think that taking those less known songs that nobody can sing along with was a really strange choice. because hearing Let It Go, especially if you like it or part of your world, it feels like when you are hearing your favorite track on the radio, it just hits even better. And here you are like, okay, nice fireworks, nice drones, but yeah, I see some genie over there, but I don't recognize this. And I think that they rob themselves of some impressions, of some emotions, and I hope that the other show will come back, or maybe they will rethink their playlist, because okay, I am fine with the fact that they probably also decrease the fireworks, but the songs, please return the songs. The next day we spent at Versailles, and I must be honest, it was a planning mess. We had a passport tickets for Versailles, and it felt to be quite a good deal. You get to enter the palace and the gardens, and the admission is for 2 people, and also you could choose either a bike ride or a boat ride. We went for a boat, and we thought that we will ride it probably like at the beginning of the visit, then we will be in the gardens, and then finally go to the palace. Oh boy, we were kind of wrong. Taking the late slot for the palace, we didn't know that it works only up until maybe 5:30 or 6, something around those lines. So we couldn't see everything, and we were just suddenly asked to leave, and it was sort of a disappointment. So we had a late slot for the palace, and also the boats, they don't work the whole day. And it turned out to be that the boat was outside of the territory of the gardens and of Versailles, and you could scan your ticket only once. And we were in some sort of trap that we had to give up either the palace or the boat, but the employees helped us, and thankfully we were able to visit both. But I would say plan accordingly so you are not nervous on any of your vacation days. If I would go there again, I would take a midday slot to the palace, so I would survive the heat inside. Then I would go for the boat ride or maybe the gardens, doesn't really matter, up to you. Just make sure that you are in time for the boats and they are not closed already. Louvre is a pretty much self-explanatory name. Once it was a palace just like Versailles, but now this is a national art museum. Actually, some of the furniture and royal belongings were transferred here during the French Revolution. The furniture was probably returned to its original place because, as I know, it was some kind of mission for Versailles. But Louvre also has all of the royal chambers in place with similar purposes, so you sort of can know how the royal people lived back then. And if for any reason you cannot visit Versailles this time, you can also just go to Louvre and learn about all of the same stuff. Of course, you cannot replace one with another, but if you have limited time, I think it's a way to go. Of course, Louvre has a bigger variety of things. There are artifacts from all over the world, Europe, Africa, Asia, the Americans, and others, which can be viewed both as good and as a bad thing, as we learned from our fellow Italian that traveled with us. So here is the fan base of our Renaissance queen, Mona Lisa. The fan base consists of both of her sort of peers from Renaissance and also some, well, younger folks. Mona Lisa was finished in France and bought by a French king, therefore its home is Louvre. In 1911, an Italian worker of Louvre actually stole it, but it managed to find its way back. I recommend you to know ahead what you would like to see in Louvre or use one of the pre-made paths of the audio guide. But good news, you probably can come back here and still see something totally new, because there is no way that you are going to cover 5 floors in just one day, but well, maybe you can. Our next stop was Etretat, and apart from the gorgeous cliffs that you see here, they also have a neo-futuristic garden. Sadly, it worked only until 7, so we were unlucky with that, but if you plan to visit, please keep this in mind. But even without the garden, honestly, totally worth it, and I enjoyed this part a lot. We made some mistake with dates when booking Airbnb, so in Normandy we lived in some small village near to the city of Cannes. When we arrived, it was pretty late and the village seemed totally empty, and we were even afraid if it's the right place. But in the morning it looked much better, and I really enjoyed living in a house, because opening your window and stepping out into the garden out of the window is just on another level. On the next day we visited the city itself, and I would say that I liked it, even though the city was quite small, and I will leave you to enjoy some of the views. Normandy was one of the key regions for liberation of Europe during the World War II. You can visit different sites related to it, for example, coastal battery that was used by Germans, an interesting World War II museum, and also just different monuments. It is also possible to swim there, and although it was a little bit windy, the weather still was nice, and therefore the water was relatively warm as well. And next up was probably my most favorite part of the vacation in Normandy, Mont Saint-Michel. It inspired different places in movies, Lord of the Rings, the Tangle Kingdom, also some maps in the Pokemon games. It was extremely crowded in August, but still it was very atmospheric and probably the closest thing to some imaginary town from a movie. Sometimes it is surrounded by the water, but unfortunately we were there during a low tide, but you can find the approximate schedule of them on the website on the day of your visit. We took a guided tour around the monastery, and this time it was a person, not an audio guide, and it was wonderful because she was extremely charismatic and I enjoyed just even being around her. If you are traveling with a car, I also recommend to take a hike a little bit away from the castle. Views feel just really a lot better. I think if you are not very keen on World War II, it is safe to visit just Mont Saint-Michel and Etretat, but I don't regret much any of it.
It's like the most normal state of me.
End of our vacation was planned for Nice, so we enjoyed French Riviera, the sun and the sea. Our Airbnb was located in the old Nice, but if I had a choice, I would not go there again. Although it's a historical part, the apartments there feel quite run down, and when we were stepping into our building, I felt like we were stepping into a dungeon. It was cold and dark and somehow also wet, and I didn't really feel safe there. It is still a very convenient area, and most probably everything that you want to see in Nice will be somewhere around there, or maybe within like 30 minutes walk maximum. So just make sure that you do your research as much as possible about the neighborhood, the surroundings of the building, and then I think you will be good to go. I must say that food in Nice was great. We could find all kinds of different cuisines, although we were in Nice for not such a long time, but we tried Greek, I think Iranian also. There is also a great market with fruits and vegetables, which is super delicious. And we even found one coffee shop with specialty coffee, which is not always true for some coastal cities like Nice. And standing next to this Mocho fountain, I will say you goodbye and hopefully see you next time.
Что-то щелкает. Нет, это значит, что ты не снимаешь, Лек. Ты потом мемцов из этого наделаешь, знаю я тебя. Завязывай уже, а ты